The Werk freeze doesn't announce itself. One morning the temperature drops 14 degrees in 4 hours, and by noon the national emergency broadcast is running on every screen in Veldren City. Registry numbers flash in sequence. Shelters are assigned. People move. Kai Soren is a maritime weather analyst with a level 2 civilian clearance and a registry number that puts him last in every queue, 1,891 out of 1,891. The system assigns numbers by usefulness score, combat output, medical certification, engineering rank. Kai's score is 3.1. The continental average is 71. He has been told, calmly and officially, that his registry slot exists to satisfy a legal headcount requirement, and that his shelter assignment will reflect this. He is in the kitchen when Myra packs. She is efficient about it. His emergency supply pack goes into her duffel. His registered shelter voucher, the one tied to her own higher-ranked slot, goes into her coat pocket. She doesn't look up when she explains that Aldrich Voss has offered her a position in his team shelter. 2 ranked hunter in the northern sector. Backup power cells, 3 months of provisions, a full combat unit to hold the perimeter. She says it's a practical decision. She says she hopes Kai understands. She says she's sorry, and then she's gone, and the door closes, and outside the temperature is already at -19 and falling. Kai stands in the kitchen for a moment. Then he checks his official registry assignment. Platform Rig 1891. A decommissioned offshore oil platform 40 kilometers into the Werk Sea. 3 days of rations. Broken comm unit. Assigned because the registry number and the platform number match and someone in the system thought that was funny. He takes his analyst bag, a thermal coat, and the 3 days of rations and he goes. The transport shuttle drops him on the platform deck and doesn't wait. The sea is already beginning to frost at the surface. The platform is enormous, a 4-deck offshore industrial rig, cold and dark, its drilling apparatus locked and silent. The official assessment in the registry notes lists it as non-operational, stripped, and scheduled for demolition. The notes are 12 years old. Kai works through the night with a headlamp and a cold, stiff stylus, mapping every room. He has no combat class. He has no awakened skill. He has a level 2 civilian clearance and 10 years of reading atmospheric data for a maritime agency that paid him poorly and thanked him never. He is calm about this the way he is calm about everything, moving through the dark with a methodical patience that has never once impressed anyone in his life, and which now, for the first time, is the only thing that matters. He maps every corridor, every storage bay, every power coupling. He reads each room the way he reads a weather system, looking for what's actually there, not what he expected. He finds it on Deck C, behind a pressure door marked Restricted Classified Installation. The door is locked to a single registry credential, 1891. Kai stares at the door for a long moment. He holds his registry card against the panel. The door opens. Inside is the Tempest Codex. The system is military grade, pre-collapse, installed during a classified weather warfare research phase that was quietly shut down before anyone knew it existed. It is a full atmospheric control array, sensor nets extending 40 kilometers in every direction, a directed microwave heating tower, storm seeding drones in cold storage, and a central AI interface that can model, generate, steer, and on command dismantle any weather system within a 600-kilometer radius. The platform's geothermal drill tap, still active and untouched for 12 years, powers the entire array indefinitely. It has been waiting here, patient and dormant, assigned to a decommissioned rig that nobody wanted, locked to a registry number that the system generated to fill a slot. The codex interface wakes when Kai sits down. Tempest Codex Operator Registry, 1891, sole clearance confirmed. Initialization sequence ready. He reads the system manual for 6 hours straight. At dawn, he runs his first command. The geothermal tap engages. Heat floods through the platform's pipe network. By mid-morning, the interior temperature reaches +12. By evening, it is +18. Outside, the Werk sea surface is beginning to lock into ice at -31. The platform stands in it like a warm lantern, the only heat signature in 40 kilometers of freezing water. Kai doesn't sleep. He runs weather models instead. He is a maritime weather analyst. He has been doing this his whole career, watching systems, reading patterns, calculating vectors. The codex gives him what he has always been able to see in his head and makes it real. He can reach out across 600 kilometers and touch the atmosphere like it's a machine he already knows how to operate. The first superstorm arrives on day 4. The national broadcast calls it a Category 7 pressure system. The Guild Emergency Network, the same one that told Aldrich Voss and his team shelter to hold their perimeter, upgrades it to Category 8 by the time it crosses the Werk coast, and by the time the mainland shelters start reporting structural warnings. Category 9 is the ceiling of the measurement scale. Nobody knows what happens above it. The guilds scramble their top combat teams to reinforce shelter walls, and it makes no difference. Wind speed at -70 is a thing that breaks buildings. Kai watches the storm system on the codex display for 40 minutes. He is drinking instant coffee that he reconstituted with geothermally heated water. The data is beautiful, in the way that catastrophe is always beautiful when you're watching it from the right angle. A cold core spiral, 1,800 kilometers wide, feeding on the continental temperature gradient like a living thing. Any hunter team on the mainland is trying to outmuscle it. Kai looks at the structural pressure differentials and sees the one column of air that's holding the whole thing together. Then he activates the seating drones and the directed heating array and begins to steer. It takes him 9 hours. He breaks the storm's cold core by heating a precise column of air 70 kilometers north of the continental coast, collapsing the pressure differential that feeds the system, then seeds the dissipating bands east into the open Werk Sea where they lose heat and die. The storm never makes landfall with full force. The guild's shelter reports go from critical to stable overnight, and nobody knows why. Kai logs the operation in the codex and makes more coffee. On day 6, he cracks open the cold storage bays. The pre-collapse research team left 3 years of provisions. He catalogs it. Then he opens a transit corridor. The codex's steering capability lets him maintain a calm weather lane from the nearest coastal evacuation point to the platform, a 40-kilometer channel where the wind stays below 30 kilometers per hour and the surface ice stays passable for equipped transport. He broadcasts the corridor coordinates on every civilian emergency frequency the codex can reach. He uses the broken comm unit's transmitter as a relay. The signal is faint. It reaches far enough. The first survivors arrive on day 8. 11 people, all civilians, all low registry numbers, the ones the guild shelters turned away. Kai meets them at the platform crane lift. He shows them the mess deck, the bunk assignments, the geothermal shower rotation. He explains the rules in 3 sentences. He goes back to the codex. More come every day after that. 30 by day 10. 112 by day 14. The platform is large. The geothermal tap does not care how many people are warm. The provisions compact well. Kai assigns duties by skill. The retired mechanic runs maintenance checks. The former schoolteacher organizes the children into shifts for the hydroponics bay he finds and activates on deck D. By day 16, the platform has a routine. People have jobs. The mess deck is loud at meal times. Someone has taped a hand-drawn map of the platform onto the corridor wall by the stairwell, and people have been adding names to the bunk lists in their own handwriting. Kai walks past it every morning on his way to the codex. He never stops, but he reads it every time. The gap between the platform and the mainland is not dramatic or loud. It widens quietly every day like a tide going out. The guild shelters begin to fail on day 17. It starts with Voss's secondary site. The auxiliary fuel cells freeze in a sustained -73 breach, a temperature band the cells were never rated for. The primary shelter holds, but its heating output drops by 40%, and 40% matters at -70. Aldrich Voss is a 2-ranked hunter. He is exceptional at killing things. He is less useful when the enemy is thermodynamics. He files a formal request through the Guild Emergency Network for atmospheric corridor access. The request reaches Kai's aid. A retired logistics coordinator named Sira, who came on day 9 and now handles the platform's external communications with a calm efficiency that Kai recognized immediately and put to work. Sira sends the standard reply. She explains that platform Rig 1891 is operating as an open civilian shelter and that corridor access is available to all evacuees through the published transit lane. She provides the coordinates. She does not escalate the message to Kai. Guild Commander Orvin's formal delegation arrives on day 21 by armored transport along the transit corridor, with a mandate to negotiate priority access and joint operational command of the platform's weather systems. There are 4 of them in tactical gear. They are received by Sira in the mess deck with hot tea and a printed information packet. Sira explains, patiently and with complete accuracy, that the Tempest Codex is locked to a single operator credential and cannot be transferred, shared, or operated jointly as a matter of system architecture. She explains that Commander Orvin's delegation is welcome to shelter on the platform under the same terms as every other evacuee. She shows them to a standard bunk block. She goes back to communications. Orvin sends 3 more messages in the following days. Sira replies to each one. Kai does not read them. On day 24, the mainland's largest guild shelter, capacity 6,000, the flagship of the Northern Sector Relief Network, reports a cascade heating failure. The broadcast is brief. Then the evacuation signal goes out on all frequencies, and the transit corridor fills. Aldrich Voss arrives on day 26. He is frostbitten across the left side of his face and both hands. He is still wearing his 2-ranked Hunters Guild insignia on his jacket, though the jacket is torn and the insignia is bent. He is a big man. Back in Veldran City, in every guild ranking hall and every emergency broadcast, his name has been synonymous with the Northern Sector's survival plan. He has appeared in 3 official relief announcements. He has been called the sector's best chance. He files through the general intake queue at the crane lift with 430 other evacuees from the flagship shelter collapse. The queue moves slowly because there are 430 people in it, not because anyone is making him wait. Kai's intake team processes everyone in sequence: medical check, bunk assignment, platform rules, hot drink. They check Voss's medical status, assign him a bunk on deck B, and direct him to the medical bay for the frostbite. He doesn't speak much. Nobody in the queue does. The cold takes most of the performance out of people. Myra arrives on day 27. She is with a group of 32 from a secondary residential shelter that lost power overnight. She is carrying a single bag, not Kai's emergency pack, which she discarded somewhere on the mainland weeks ago, but a small personal pack with a broken zipper held shut with a cord. She is uninjured. She is very cold. She knows the platform belongs to Kai. She understood that on day 8, when the corridor coordinates went out on the civilian frequencies, and someone told her the registry number. She has had 19 days to think about what she would say. She files through the intake queue. Kai's intake team is a former hospital administrator named Dav and a 20-year-old engineering student named Fen. They are methodical and warm. They check Myra's medical status: fine, hypothermia adjacent, needs fluids and rest. They assign her a bunk on deck C. They give her a hot drink from the mess deck dispenser. Dav explains the rotation schedule and the platform rules in 3 sentences, the same 3 sentences Kai wrote on day 8 and which have not changed. Fen shows her to deck C. Kai is on deck A at the Codex station, running a pressure system intercept that will keep the transit corridor passable for another 4 days. He is aware, peripherally, that the day 27 intake group is arriving. He does not go down to the crane lift. This is not cruelty. Kai Soren has never been cruel. He admits everyone. He runs the corridor for everyone. He steers the storms away for everyone, including the guilds whose shelters are failing, including Voss's people, including the 6,000 from the flagship collapse. He doesn't hold the gap against anyone. He just doesn't pretend it isn't there. Myra doesn't try to find him. She knows the platform. She can read a registry number. She understands, sitting on her deck C bunk with a hot drink, that there is nothing to say that the platform hasn't already said, quietly, in every warm corridor and every full mess deck and every storm that didn't make landfall. Outside, the Werkfreeze continues. The continental surface holds at -71. The platform holds at +18. The transit corridor is open. The codex runs. The geothermal tap burns indefinitely. On Deck A, Kai Soren makes a note in the codex operational log and starts the next intercept sequence. The entry is 2 lines. Day 27, intake, 32 additional evacuees, all civilian. Platform population, 1,847, all stable. Storm intercept 14 initiated. Estimated dissipation, 31 hours. Corridor integrity maintained. He doesn't write anything else. The gap doesn't need a caption.